Welcome to another episode of my Own Your Expertise interviews. I'm Emily Crookston, owner and decider of all things at the Pocket PhD. I'm the ghostwriter for Rebels, Renegades, and Mavericks, and I love helping experts with big ideas get those ideas out of their heads and into the hands of their fans. Today, I'm sitting down with Jennifer Yousem. Jennifer is the founder of I Heart EBITDA. So if you haven't heard that term before, it's a little bit of finance jargon, EBITDA, and that stands for Earnings Before Interest, Taxes, Depreciation, and Amortization.
Well done.
And if none of those words really make sense to you, that's why Jennifer is here. She's on a mission to translate finance into a digestible language that anyone, even I, can understand. So Jennifer, thank you so much for speaking with me. Tell us a little bit more about who you work with and what you do.
So I work with small and medium-sized enterprises, helping them translate their finances into something somewhat of a usable tool. I think people are generally just scared of their financial statements, and they have so much that they want to tell you. I generally find they're speaking a different language. So I like to translate that into something that's usable for the average business owner.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I know for myself, I don't love looking at my financials. It's not my favorite thing. There's all kinds of money hangups, like, oh my God, I just don't want to see what I didn't make this year. But so it's really helpful to have somebody like you know, hold my hand and say like, okay, you can do it. It's not that complicated. It's not that scary. Like, look at it, you'll feel better.
I mean, you said the number one thing I hear most often, which is like, I'm just not going to look. And I think, you know, we all know with any problem, finance is the least of it, but not looking at it actually doesn't make it any better. And you're right. There's a lot of, I think, personal attachment and hangups around finances that have nothing to even do with businesses. And so when you layer all of that on, by the time I'm putting a finance statement in front of someone, they're like, So we like to say, you know, we don't make them easy. If we made them easy, then I'd be out of a job. We'll definitely make them easier.
There you go.
So the idea is translate them into whatever's going to work for you, and that's going to be different for everybody.
So what is your die in a ditch belief? So for anybody listening, die in a ditch belief is something that I don't know, I don't think I made it up, but from my philosophy days, people have these beliefs that they're willing to defend. It can draw a line in the sand for you. It's probably something that you've believed for a while or that you've thought about quite a lot so that you can defend it, right? And I really love Jennifer's answer to this. So what's your die in a ditch belief?
All businesses are the same.
Mm-hmm.
I know everybody likes to think they're special.
Right.
Literally, all businesses have revenue coming in, expenses going out, whatever's left over goes in your pocket or wherever you want it to go. There's this belief, though, that we have to be so special in every single way, and that's just not the case for finance. Simple is better.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be unique in your finances. You know, you don't want to have some metric that nobody's ever heard of before. When you're measuring your business.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So would you say that service business, product business still holds true? All businesses are the same when it comes to finance.
All businesses are the same. Like I said, I think, you know, everybody wants to feel special. But what happens is you start to get into the minutia and you lose big picture of what finance is telling you. And again, those principles are the same across every business. If you spend more than you make, I don't care what business you're in, it's not sustainable.
Right. End of story. Like,
right.
It's that simple. Right. Yeah. How would you say you've learned to translate your expertise for others? I really like that you talk about that language of translating finances. I talk about my work as translating people's expertise for lay audience or, you know, their target audience. So how have you learned to translate your expertise?
So there's a couple ways. I really like to get to know my business owners and understand everybody's got a thing that drives them. Some are very focused on top line growth. Some are very focused on margin expansion. They're not using those words,
right?
But I can hear that they're like, I want to make more money, and I'm like, oh, okay, I want to make more money. In what way? There's a lot of ways to make more money, right? It's sell more, spend less to sell more. So it's really just figuring out with each person what their driving, foundational thing is, and setting them up for success. One, helping them understand what's going on in their business now, and then how to get to wherever it is they want to be. No judgment. I actually don't care what their answer is. I just want to make it so that their financials are helping guide them along the way. I almost try to work myself out of a job. The idea is to not set it and forget it to some extent. If you have good processes in place and you have good fundamental financial grounds, that'll take you as far as you want to go. So I don't need to talk to you every day about it. If you understand it today, you'll understand it in 6 months.
That's great. So you give them kind of a whole process. Like this is not just let's fix it for today, but for long term. Here's how you can keep this going.
Yes, and I try to operationalize it for them. I think the biggest hang up, or disconnect is it's easy for a consultant to come in and say, oh, you just gotta zhuzh this thing over here and do that. Bye.
Right.
I make sure that all of that is set up. The only thing I can't do is I can't make them do it after I leave.
Right.
So it's like having, if you have like an organizer come over and do your whole house that makes it gorgeous, you can absolutely screw that up in like a week.
Right. Yes.
Right?
That's so funny. I've been watching The Home Edit on Netflix, and I was thinking the same thing when you just said that. Like you're like The Home Edit, like because they also focus on helping you create a system that works for your life and that you can keep up after they leave.
Right, but it's up to you.
Right, totally. You have to do the work, right? You have to. What has helped you most in learning to own your expertise?
I have stayed true to who I am and my beliefs, in the business in terms of I know what works. Like I have seen this across big companies, small companies, SaaS providers, people that are selling widgets. And so the idea that someone will come to me, but my company is different, I have to stand true in my beliefs that, yep, you're different over there, but you're not different here. And that's a really hard thing to get people to understand. And I tell people, especially like when I'm pitching, like I'm not for everybody. I'm not, you may not like the way that I'm selling it to you, or you may not like the fact that I'm going to point out things in your business, and that's okay. That's totally fine. But I know this is the thing in life that I know. Couldn't tell you anything about anything. This is my jam though. So I've gone very, very deep on this. And I also know the topics within my discipline that I don't know. I think that a lot of people try to be a master of all in their discipline. And there are CFOs that are very, very good at fundraising. There are CFOs that are very, very good at, dog and pony shows and going out there and putting together decks and whatever. Like I am operational finance to help you scale your business. Processes in the weeds, setting you up for success.
Well, awesome. I've enjoyed this conversation, Jennifer. I think it's been really fun. Tell us where we can find more about you.
You can find more about me at iheartebitda.com. And I will spell it out because I know people are like, wait, what? It's iHeart, EBITDA.
There we go.
Thanks so much for having me. This was fantastic.